What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Chick coming at you with what I started Season 10 with, and that would be the Rogue and the Dance of Knives build, which is probably one of my favorite, easiest, most fun to play builds I've played in a long time. Reminds me a lot of the Demon Hunter God set from D3. As you can see, just made quick work of Bartek. And a newsflash, I don't have all the items yet. Not itemized correctly. I'm still using some Call of the Nameless stuff. And yeah, we're just kind of out here winging it. So let's hop right into the guide and let me show you what I got and what we're working with and see if we got lucky there with our pickups. Let's see, did we? Orphan Maker, Mother's Embrace, Locron's Talisman. Oh boy, not even a little bit. Let's go ahead and mark that as favorite. Anyway, let's start out with the gear here. So, Fist of Fate, this should be an Air of Perdition, and you should have Fist of Fate down here or anywhere else. I'm still using a 750 Scoundrels Leather because RNG hates me. You can see that I am Paragon 250 and still have this. Anyway, Fist of Fate, you want this for the lucky hit chance and the chance to make enemies vulnerable because we're using a lot of vulnerable damage here. Ideally, you want one that is G8 on lucky hit chance and the lucky hit to make them vulnerable, but this is what I'm rocking right now until I can move stuff around. I have some really good ones in other slots, but I can't use them right now. We're using Ahu Cax. If you don't have Ahu, just use something else that will give you more offering in the meantime, but Cax is really good, going to give you some more damage. Reason Scoundrel's Leather because it's making your poison traps a core skill. That's what's doing all of our damage. It's giving you some extra damage when you throw your caltrops or manually throw anything. It's going to proc a death trap. It's going to give you extra damage. You just kind of use that as a cooldown if you need it. For the most part, you don't need that for tier 4 content. Throwing some dex gems in there because Madeeps bans Victor's Rose. This is excellent. It's giving you more poison traps. It is giving you more poison resistance. We don't really care about that. Chance for poison trap to cast twice. The big thing is you get all 3 of its upgrades, which we'll talk about in a little bit in the skill section, and it deals more damage over less time. So the big thing down here, it's giving you all of those extra things, but the big key takeaway here is poison trap deals its full damage over 3 seconds. So it just annihilates things, as you can see there, and it stacks up really quickly. We're using, this can be in your chest, your boots, or your pants, any of the 3 once you get everything situated, but you need to have Umbrus to give you your Dark Shroud shadows. Nobody wants to manually press Dark Shroud. If you have the wherewithal to keep your Dark Shroud up on your own, instead of just wanting to hold down one button, please go ahead and do that and put something else in here. You can get other multipliers, but that is not something I'm doing. I'm also using this to fix my armor, so that's what we got going on here, throwing some dex gems in there. Call the Nameless. Ideally, I would have Fist of Fate or Scoundrel's Leathers on my boots and be wearing Air of Perdition, but that is just not in the card for me right now, so this is what we're doing. Giving you increased lucky hit chance against crowd control enemies. Your traps are knocking things down. You're slowing things, so we're getting extra damage there. Unstable Elixirs is also a good thing to have because Unstable Elixirs gives you more damage when you use your potion. We're using Contamination on a crossbow because crossbows have vulnerable damage. You can roll extra damage or vulnerable damage here. The big things here are your temperatures being poison trap duration and damage per Dark Shroud shadow. You want to get all of your crits on poison trap duration. I just haven't had the materials to re-roll it. But what contamination does, your poison traps burst for extra damage when they pop, and then if they crit, you deal increased poison damage for 9 seconds, which is insane because all of our damage is coming from poison damage. Using Neo Vex here. Vex is a little hard to get. You can throw something else in here if you don't have Vex. So just getting more levels to skills, more levels equals more deeps equals more better. Moving up to the necklace. You don't particularly want yours to look like mine. You want to have some passive damage. You want to have percent dexterity. Big thing here is to roll traps arm faster, because if your traps are out there and they're not arming faster, they're not doing any DPS, right? If you can get it, put poison imbue on your pants too, just to make it smoother to play. It is not required at all. You can still keep poison imbuement up 24 hours a day, but it just makes it a little easier. If you get your traps to arm faster, you're going to be able to get them to pop quicker. They're going to not be sitting out there doing anything. It's just going to be great. You're going to be using bursting venoms here. What this does, poison imbued skills have a chance to drop your poison traps. This is the one that is absolutely required to make this work, because otherwise you are not going to be dropping your traps. This item is also the reason that you want to make sure, if you're able to, that your Fist of Fate is G8 on lucky hit chance, because the higher your lucky hit chance, the more chance you have to drop the poison traps. Faster your clears are going to be. It's going to save you a little bit of time in the long run. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Throw resist all in here, fix your armor in here, whatever you got to do. We're using the clandestine thing on one of our rings here because extra levels to agility and subterfuge skills. So subterfuge is poison trap. It's also going to give you a couple other levels, everything else, but the big thing is getting more levels on your poison trap. If you have it, Ring of Starless Skies. If you don't, you can use one of the other multipliers. Makes you do more damage to anything. The one that gives you more elemental damage, it rotates. Just anything that gives you another multiplier would be excellent. Here, you ideally want GA on core skills, and you want your Masterworks to be on core skills, but I've not been lucky, and this is what I'm working with. As you can see, even with not perfect gear, you're still going to destroy everything, so don't worry about that. Down here, Star Shards, this is really important because your Dance of Knives will shatter, and each one of those things that shatter has lucky hit chance. You can see, same as the other weapons, Poison Trap duration, Dark Shroud damage, vulnerable damage, Dex, just all the damage you can get. It's going to make it a lot better and smoother. Here, same thing, Poison Trap duration, Dark Shroud damage. Down here, you're wanting to use True Sight. True Sight is giving you a multiplier for critical strike damage when enemies marked by Inner Sight. While Inner Sight is full, you gain a multiplier of damage. So poisons can't crit. The bursting can crit, so that's going to be good if you do get crits. But the big one here is just increased damage while Inner Sight is full. All right, that's the gear. Let's hop over to the talents. After we talk about specializations, no brainer, Inner Sight, we just talked about that. Extra critical strike chance is great for your bursting venoms, extra poison damage, more damage when it's full. All right, so let's talk about skills. You are going to put 1 point in Blade Shift and then down in Enhanced Blade Shift. This is just to move. I don't care which one of these you do. Second row here, we're only putting points into Sturdy to get some damage reduction and then a little bit of heal on Lucky Hit. Coming down here is where things start to get good. You're going to put 1 point into Caltrops. You're going to put 1 point into Enhanced Caltrops. And then you're going to put 1 point into Methodical Caltrops. This is going to CC stuff. As you saw a little bit ago, we do more damage to CC'd enemies. This has got 9 levels in it because it's a core skill, because it's a trap, right? So we're leveling it up with our gear. We're going to put 1 point into Dance of Knives because Dance of Knives is not doing your damage. It is just proccing your poison. So we're getting move speed, dodge chance, all that. Enhance, it's giving you more charges further you move. and it is now slowing enemies and has a chance to pierce. Slow is ACC, so this is also helping out with your multipliers over there. I'm going to put 1 point into dash, 1 point into enhanced dash. You're only going to use this to get the critical strike chance. I don't ever push this button, but I have it if I need more DPS. I don't really push on anything, so this is just here. Unstable elixirs. Every time you use a potion, you get increased damage, stun everything around you, and this damage is a multiplier. So the more levels on unstable elixirs you have, the more damage you're going to do for 10 seconds after you push your potion. I pretty much pop my potion every 10 seconds. You're going to get more potions, use them. Trick attacks, attempting to daze or stun an enemy is going to give you extra crit damage and crit chance. So we're always dazing and stunning enemies, so this is going to be up a lot. So your bursting venoms is actually going to crit a lot more than you think it is. So we're going to move down from here. 1 point into concealment. 1 point into enhanced concealment. We don't care about that. What we want is the dodge chance and the movement speed. We want the movement speed and the breaking of CC. So this is going to give us unstoppable. It's going to give us some movement speed. It's going to let you get around the maps easier. It's going to keep you from getting CC'd and ripping pepperoni. We're going to put 3 points into exploit, increase damage against healthy and injured enemies. We do that all the time. We're going to put 3 points into malice, more damage against vulnerable enemies and more damage against knockdown enemies can apply simultaneously. So we're always making things vulnerable because of our Fist of Fate, and we're always knocking them down because of our poison traps. So we are going absolutely ham with that. So we're using poison trap, right? You notice I don't have any points into any of these because our gloves gives us all 3 of these. So just having those gloves, go back over and show you real quick. So when you read this, benefits from all of its upgrades, and they're increased. Okay, so all of its upgrades. So base skill, we get all 3 of these for free. It doesn't show it in the tooltip, but it's fine. We get all 3 of these. So it knocks them down, can reset your imbuement. You'll notice in the gameplay that it resets your imbuement all the time. And then increased non-physical damage to enemies standing in your poison trap. Doing poison damage. And you can see that the numbers are scaling the correct way. 11.67 seconds, 78% chance, 39, because it's increased by the multiplier on our gloves, right? So we put 5 points into Dark Shroud just to get the damage up, damage reduction up, and then we want the move speed. So the heal is not really important, and the crit chance isn't really important, so we just stop right here. We're putting 3 points into Deadeye, increased damage to distant enemies. We're always moving away from things. We're moving non-stop, so this is incredibly helpful. 3 points into Frigid Finesse. Godspeed in getting levels of Frigid Finesse on your necklace. I hope you have more luck with that than I do. I've never done that. I've never been that lucky. Fingers crossed for all of you out there. I hope you get it. If you do, drop it in the comments, post a screenshot, just rub it in, please, because I want to see somebody actually get that item. We got 1 point into Poison Imbuement, and then we've got 1 point into giving us increased energy. We don't really care about that. We don't need either of these things. We're just using Poison Imbuement to proc our traps, right? So gives us back our energy. So once out, it just helps us get our energy back for our next cycle of our rune draining our energy and giving us damage back. Dealing poison damage increases your lucky hit chance up to 15. We don't really care about attack speed because the only thing attack speed does for this build is give our Dance of Knives more damage, and we don't care about our Dance of Knives damage. What we care about here is getting the increased lucky hit chance, increased poison damage because we love that, and then poison enemies dealing less damage. Damage reduction is always good. Down here, we're putting 1 point into Death Trap, 1 point into prime death trap. This is just making them take more damage from our trap skills. So every time you use your caltrops and you proc this, or every time you manually throw a poison trap and you proc this, they're going to take 20% multiplicative increased damage on top of the increased damage from your scoundrel's leathers. So basically think of every time you press your scoundrel's leather, every time you press a trap skill and this is off cooldown, it will give you an increase of 50% damage right off the rip, which is amazing. Got 3 points in impetus, given our extra damage skills, subterfuge skills when our bonus is ready. So after we move 15 meters, so our traps always have 15% increased damage. Also, core skill and ultimate skills deal increased damage. So we're getting our increased damage on our poison trap at all time with that too. Alchemist Fortune, non-physical damage you deal has increased lucky hit chance. This is making our Dance of Knives with poison imbuement have higher lucky hit chance. Innervate, lucky hit chance to restore up to 8 energy. This is just keeping our energy up for our rune to drain. Every 100 energy you spend gives you a barrier, so every time our rune procs, we're getting a barrier. When we come down here, we've got exposure, dealing damage to an enemy affected by a trap skill has up a 40% chance to reset your cooldowns or increase your trap damage, stacking up to 100%. We basically want this for our trap damage because we're not actually using our trap skills. So what we got there. Let's move on over to the Paragon. Caveat for the Paragon. Remember, use your points to fix the gaps in your gear, resistances, armor, get your stats up that you need. Don't cookie cutter these, because if you cookie cutter these, you're going to be like, well, why am I dying? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Well, it's because you didn't use this to fill in your slots. So all we're going to talk about is which boards and the glyphs. So first board here, ambush. You can see I haven't leveled these up very much. They're still level 46 across the board. These are level 25. They're not even all legendary yet. So ambush, it's going to give you increased trap damage, more damage to trapped enemies. Enemies affected by trap skills take 12% increased damage, right? It's amazing. Love this. One of my favorite runes. And by runes, I mean glyphs. So our first board is going to be Deadly Ambush. Increase critical strike damage to enemies affected by your trap skills. This is for your Bursting Venoms procs when your traps burst. We have Headhunter in here. It's giving us increased damage to elites. You can see I don't even have that leveled up yet. Move over to this one. We got Eldritch Bounty, increased poison, shadow, and cold maximum resistance, and multiplicative poison, shadow, and cold damage. So it's just increasing our poison damage. Over here, I don't even have this activated yet. So this is giving us non-physical damage. I'll probably mess around with my points here in a second and make sure I get this activated, but this is what you want here. Canny, just giving you increased non-physical damage. We love increased damage everywhere we can get it. Up here, we've got the Dense Macabre. Mobility of subterfuge skills increases your damage by 50% for 10 seconds. So this is another reason we've got dash. You use dash, bang, 50% increased damage for 10 seconds. So that's one of the reasons you want to have increased poison imbuement stacks, so you can do this a little more. But like I said, that's not a requirement. It's just going to make it play a little smoother. Here we've got Snare. It's just giving you increased trap damage. Non-ultimate trap skills have increased radius, making them bigger and doing more damage. Bigger and better, baby. Alright. Layrana's Instinct. Your core skills deal increased damage. Within your sight gauge becomes full. We don't really care about the dodge chance, but core skills deal multiplicatively more damage. Our traps are now core skills. No brainer. Over here, we've got non-basic and non-core skills deal 25% increased damage. Easy peasy squeezy, right? Just good all the way around, helping us out. All right, so let's go over here, and our mercenaries, I like Subo. Pick whatever you like. If you need better defenses, get your here. I like Subo because he shows me where things are. that is basically it. I don't push, so I'm not over here min-maxing. I just think he's a lot of fun to play with. Ton of fun. Chaos perks, these make this infinitely better. So accelerating chaos is just giving us some increased cooldown reduction. CDR is good. We love that. Innovative strikes, you no longer passively generate energy, but our core skills are dealing huge damage, right? So since we're not getting energy back, we need all that other stuff we just talked about to get our energy back for our rune word. But this is why our core skills deal 150% multiplicative increased damage. This is just making our trap skills hit incredibly hard. Power Siphon, core skills still increase damage, but also reduce your maximum current resource. Well, thing is, we're not actually using them, so it's not getting rid of our maximum resource. So we're just getting this for free. My favorite hit and run, for every 15 meters you move, you get increased damage for 5 seconds. Stacks, but does not refresh. We always move. We're always moving. That's the whole thing of this build. We're always moving. So this is frequently going to be between 150 and 250%. So just use that to your advantage. It's amazing. That's pretty much the build, guys. Easy, straightforward. As long as you got the Scoundrel's Leathers and those two aspects, Bursting Venoms and Contamination, you can start playing the build to get yourself up to start farming all of the gear. Super easy, super fun, super fast. Hope you guys have better luck than I have with the gear. But that's it for this one. Let me know what you guys want to see next down in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.